We can do it and count on friends. Hello guys, Brian here, and today I want to give you my impressions on the Mastermind Creations Rearend and Hurricane add-on kit, which is IDW Tailgate and Cyclonus. Well, it's actually not Cyclonus, it's the Hurricane add-on kit, which is parsed to turn Cyclonus into an IDW-inspired version. So let's go ahead and just talk about him for a moment. By the way, this is a Tanashi Act 4 stage, I want to say. It came with my Dragon Ball figure arts for the most part. The Hurricane add-on kit that this package comes with includes the sword, the sheath that the sword sits on, which is just a 5mm peg, these little flappy dealies, and some better engines. And that's really all that you get for vehicle mode. So we're going to go ahead and set him aside for the rest of this part of the video. And we'll come back to Cyclonus when we get to robot mode. But the meat and potatoes of this kit is Tailgate himself. And I gotta say, this is a amazing representation of IDW Tailgate. That's a bit wrong, but you know, not wrong. Underside, you can see his head, you can see his hands, you can see his waist, so you can kind of make out the robot, but it's not too egregious. I've seen far worse. But yeah, this is a really, really good-looking Cybertronian vehicle mode to me. I love Cybertronian vehicle modes, and this is a cool one. He rolls. That's what he does in vehicle mode. He also slides when you don't push him on the wheels. But yeah, that's really all he does in vehicle mode, is just roll. So, let's do some size comparisons. Let's start off with my yardstick of Chromia, who is also a Cybertronian vehicle, so no real worries about scale there. Planet X Vulcan. Not even in frame, because he's big. Picking you guys up for a second. There you go. Big, small, small, big. But I hear you saying to this computer screen, Brian, how does he look with Trash Talk? That's how he looks with Trash Talk. They look good. They are the same size, basically. Here's Ultra Magnus. Here's Minimus Ambus. A whole big Lost Light shindig. Yeah, I could throw in more, but you get the point. For another size comparison, let's throw in Kaon and Tarn. No, that's not Tarn, that's Voss. Sorry. So, who we actually have here is, this is Fake Busker 83's Shapeways product, Abstargent, Face Off the Abstargent or something like that. It's a Shapeways 3D printed Voss, who I still have yet to print after having him for like a year. Grumble, grumble, Brian, grumble. And this is Mastermind Creations Anarchus. And you guys are a little bit too close. There you go. The paint apps on this guy actually are pretty darn impressive. Mastermind Creations is really good with their paint apps. Like, you even got the bomb disposal on here, which isn't really accurate. Well, it's accurate for the comic, but not accurate for the character. I like the spots of orange. I like the spots of blue. This is a nice looking vehicle mode for Tailgate. I like it. Now, let us go to robot mode, and I will talk about that. The loving couple driving off into the sunset as the world behind them explodes. Daw. Scraplets, like ants, always ruining the party. Alright, and bam, here he is in robot mode with Cyclonus, equipped with the Hurricane add-on stuff. So I'll talk about Cyclonus a little bit first. He comes with a new head, he comes with new arms and, well, not arms, but hand, wrist assembly area. And he comes with this new skirt piece, and obviously the sword. Well, maybe not obviously. And a sheath for the sword, a little 5mm peg with a sheath in it that you actually have to take off for transformation, so that kind of I don't love, but I do love this sword in and of itself. This is a very nice looking sword. I kind of wish MakeToys would release this separately and just be able to buy several of these, because this is good. This is good. I like that. But as for the rest of Cyclonus, the new wrists have purple on the inside, so it actually like disguises it. And the new hand is on a ball joint and can move around a bit, but not amazingly, but more than the last one could. Also, these holes, these hands are really tight on mine for some reason. So much so that at first I didn't think he could actually even hold his sword. But with a little bit of elbow grease and forcing, it eventually goes in there. So yeah, you can, but I at least had issues getting in and out of... Hey, so apparently the blade comes out. And that apparently just plugs back in. No big issue there. I don't even see any like glue or stress marks or anything, so I guess that's kind of by design. Too bad this isn't like an energy blade, because now I can totally have a blank lightsaber hilt. Just... For vehicle mode, the new wrists do have cool engines on them, so that's actually really cool looking. I suppose they could be blasters. You don't have to take anything off for the hip skirts to transform it, but you do have to just rotate things around. So I've had these skirts pop off these ball joints in the past, but it's not really all that often, and if I'm careful with it, I can get it transformed without any issue. The big thing is he comes with a new head. This is totally IDW Season 1 Cyclonus, complete with missing horn. A very cool looking Cyclonus design. I didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me a lot since then. But to put it on, the back of the original head just had a screw on it, so you just unscrew those and you can split them apart and take it off the hinge joint here. And this guy has several screws on his own. So you take this piece off, which is just a kind of flexible piece of rubbery plastic, and then you unscrew these screws, and this whole head assembly will come apart. And hey, if you like Cyclonus having a much thinner head, you could, just leave this part off if you wanted. But then you just clamp it around the mushroom peg in here and screw the things back on, and then just clamp this back on around his head. And there you go. You have a Cyclonus. Installing these new parts was not really all that difficult. Just unscrewing a couple screws and these two screws on for the hands. I don't even think there was anything... Oh no, there wasn't anything back here, but there was a screw holding the waist together. You gotta take that screw out and put this new longer screw in. So, just a couple screws to manipulate. No real big deal. And it makes Cyclonus look so much better. By the way, this is the Battle in Space Cyclonus that came with the Rodimus figure. Well, it came with a Rodimus figure and a little matrix. Oh, and as far as articulation for him, the hip skirts do get smidgen in the way to go outward, but they're on ball joints and assembly joints, so you can kind of move them around a bit. I guess there's no real good way to get his leg up high, short of just like moving the skirt around and getting rid of it. So that sucks going forward, or going outward. Going forward, yeah. So the hip skirts do affect his articulation, and that does kind of blow, because without them, he has like amazing articulation for his legs, but with them, it's a bit more frustrating. But all in all, I do like this upgrade kit, especially for the hands. The hands themselves, I think, are worth it. The hip skirts look amazing, but it does hinder his articulation, so it's kind of a mixed blessing, I guess. I suppose I could take it off and just be happy with a nearly IDW style Cyclonus. Yeah, no. But on Tailgate slash Rearend himself, let's run down his articulation before we get into some size comparisons. His head is on a glorious ball joint. It can go back and forth and wiggle and waggle and wiggle and waggle and wiggle. It is also on a hinge, so it can go all the way up and go Superman! Do-do-do-do. And yeah, his head is wonderful. His arms, for transformation, these pegs lock into those ports right there, and they don't hold in particularly securely, so like on this one you'll see it comes out a bit no matter how much I push on it. So I think maybe my peg is just a little bit too thick. Not too bad though, so I deal with it. His arms though are on ball joints, so they can go all the way around. They also have the hinge that Swerve has that lets them go out a bit. However, he has things that bump in the way of his shoulders. His arms have a waist... No, not a waist swivel. This is a bicep swivel. Waists are down here, Brian. They go at the waist. Yay, I learned anatomy. He also has a elbow joint, which gives him 90 degrees. And if you really want to count this as articulation, his forearm guards can go up and like be shields. Like, ah, I'm a badass because I have a shield on my arm. But that's not really articulation. His hand is on a swivel joint. So just simple back and forth. It does mean that his hand does not fall off nearly as much as Swerve's. So there's that blessing, but it also doesn't. It's not on a ball joint. I like ball joints better. Speaking of ball joints, his waist is a ball joint. And that spins around right round like a record baby. For some reason, this piece is its own separate piece and can swivel around. I don't really know why the waist thingy is its own separate piece. But it is. Speaking of his legs, they are on ball joints, so they can go forward a good amount. They can go backwards all the way. They can go outwards only about that much because of like junk getting in the way. See, his arms come unpegged a lot. He has a thigh swivel right below the ball joint assembly, so that works very well. You can even do that if you want it for some reason. He's got a double jointed knee, mostly for transformation, but you know, you can still use it. His feet are on rather loose ball joints, but they're also on an assembly for transformation to allow them to rotate as much as you'd like in either direction. So his feet are kind of glorious. They're nice and big and flat, and I don't really have too many issues standing him. Doesn't really have a big backpack, so he's not hard to stand really. He does indeed come with the broken legs that he had in the very first issues of More Than Meets the Eye, and he also has the awesome crying down the halls running face. In fact, let's give you a close-up of his head sculpt for both of them. Not an amazing head sculpt, but then again, Tailgate doesn't exactly have an amazing head. But I love that they gave me the crying face, because having different faces for different emotions is always an amazing thing in my head. And this head also has the extra joint to allow it to look all the way up, so he can fly while crying. I don't want to be flying. But yes, back to the legs. These do not have any articulation whatsoever. They're basically just one chunk of plastic as far as I can see. And getting them on and off is actually, well, I would have said that it was no real issue at all. But I broke one. Actually, while I was in the midst of setting up a thumbnail shot for Kaon, I wanted to swap out the real legs for the broken legs, and so I did my usual thing of I twisted the legs to be like this, so the ball joint was there, and then would just do that, because I found was the easiest way to do that. Apparently, it doesn't like that, because it broke. And I've had this figure for months. So I was like, Big Bad Toy Store, is there any way you can help me? Please help me. I do stupid things. Help me. And they go, yeah, if you want to pay for shipping, we'll send you out a new torso. I'm like, deal. Done. Do it. Woohoo. So, Big Bad Toy Store gets a huge thumbs up from me for helping me when they didn't really necessarily need to, given how long I've had this guy. So, Thank you, Big Bad. You guys are rocking awesome. Rock awesome. I'll go with rock awesome. You rock awesome. So basically, to swap out his legs, maybe just pull. Hey, there, that one came off. You just basically pop it off a ball joint, which is an easy enough thing to do. I think this is the right leg, because I think that's supposed to be the kneecap, that little nub there, because the other side doesn't have it. And also the wheels seem to be in the right position, the broken wheels. So I think this is the right leg, and thus you would just pop this on the ball joint. And now he has a broken leg and can still stand on one. Because I had him for a few videos where he only had the one leg. Alright, so let's do some size comparisons, shall we? There he is, obviously, with Cyclonus and Kaon. We'll throw in Voss right here. For some more Lost Light buddies, we've got Ultra Magnus here, who does not even show up in frame. We've got Swerve, and we've got Minimus Embassy. We'll throw Minimus right there. I'm going to pick you up so that you can see Ultra Magnus fully. There you go. Ultra Magnus is big, Tailgate is small, Cyclonus is medium. Minimus Ambus is tiny. To get some other big size comparisons out of the way, let's go ahead and throw in Planet X's Vulcan, aka Fall Cybertron Grimlock. And why not, here is Combiner Wars Onslaught. I'm going to pick you guys up again. There you are. And yeah, Tailgate's tiny, Vulcan is huge, Onslaught is big, Cyclonus is normal, and Tailgate's small. We can do it and count on friends. I don't know what that song was supposed to be. We've also got Combiner Wars Prowl, who is a standard deluxe scale for Combiner Wars. That mold is rather ubiquitous. And there's my general yardstick of Chromia, so you can see how they compare to that. Now, on the transformation itself, it doesn't have as cool of a moment as Swerve does, with like the chest PC flipping up or the wheels flipping in. It does have the wheels rotating on this joint right here, which, you know, that's cool. But not as cool to me as like Swerve's wheels. On the plus side, I don't have to pull his chest piece out I don't have to pull Tailgate's chest piece out to manipulate the head, and his head is so nice. This is like perhaps one of my favorite head executions. Now there's a sentence I didn't know if I'd say. The transformation is fun, just not as fun to me as like Swerve's is. I like how neatly the backpack combines up. Okay, apparently I'm just going into my final thoughts. So let's go into my final thoughts. I like the figure a lot. The head is amazing. The arms are nice. I wish these locked a little more securely, especially the bomb disposal one, which, by the way, that's not right anymore. These don't lock in as securely as I'd like, so I'd often like find that like kind of falling down. Maybe I'm just not pushing it up hard enough, but you know, that could just be me. I love this figure. He looks exactly like Tailgate from the comic books. And I love that he comes with extra effects parts for himself, like the head and the arm and the legs. I would love it if they do more of that. And make it easier to swap them in and out, unlike Swerve's, who I can't actually tell you right now where his other head is. I think it's in the box somewhere that I have to go digging for to find his skull head. So, while a cool head, it's just a pain in the butt to use. Hey, speaking of pain in the butt, here's a bit of advice. When you transform him, this little bit right here flips up for vehicle mode. Otherwise, it'll drag on the ground. Super tiny, super easy to forget, but that little nub can flip up. So, word of advice for that. About the only other thing I think I can say, if his head will cooperate and get through the chest there. So about the only other thing I think I can say is that I really like this guy, and Big Bad Toy Store is amazing for helping me out and getting a replacement torso for him. And yeah, I quite like this guy, and I'm super glad to have it. I'm very glad that people are giving me IDW characters. So, there is my final thoughts on him, guys. I am curious to know what you guys think about Mr. Tailgate Babyface McGee here. That's apparently his full name. And I would like to know what you guys think about him. How do you feel about him in the comics? I need to put an Autobot logo on him, don't I? Like, right there, I think, is where he puts it. Right in the middle of his chest, but that's a really tiny one. I don't know if I have... I think this is the smallest Autobot logo that Repro Labels makes. And as far as I'm aware, they have not made a set for this guy himself. So I don't know what to do. What do you guys think of him? Give me advice. I'd also like to take a moment to sincerely thank you guys for those of you who have subscribed to us, watch our channel, and spread the word about us. You guys are amazing for having done that, and you guys are the reason we keep doing these videos, so thank you so much. Until next time, guys, may all of your hollow matter avatars be able to walk and not need a diaper change. What? Aw, Tailgate, don't cry.